What's going on, everybody? My name is Drew and I like to draw cartoons. So with today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I hope is the first of a series called Drawing and Ranking. And this is going to be a series where I do something where it's combining my two loves right now when it comes to content creation and just life in general, where I'm combining my love for drawing cartoons and drawing characters in different cartoon styles and combining it with my love of films and just talking about movies because I love watching them, love talking about it. So I'm very excited for this. And in this first iteration of this hopeful series is going to be drawing and ranking my top 5 movies of 2024 so far. We are now in June, so we are getting close to halfway through the year. And I'm going to talk about the year of movies we've had so far and what I think are the best ones of the year so far. So how this new series is going to work, it's going to be a little bit of a combination between drawings that I've already made this year about certain movies that have come out already, and then making drawings for movies specifically for this video. Now, before I dive into the drawing and the ranking, there are a few disclaimers that I want to talk about for the movies that I'm going to be discussing. So first off, there are obviously some movies that I have not seen yet. Some of the movies that I have still not seen that I think could potentially be in this top 5, be in my personal top 5 for the year are going to include Furiosa, Challengers, and Fall Guy. Now, obviously, you can't see every movie unless it's literally your job to be able to go see them, and that's unfortunately not my job. And I try to see as many movies as I can, but those are some of the outliers. And out of some of the movies that I have seen, there are certainly some movies that I will not be mentioning that you may be wondering why I don't mention them. One of them may be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. If you've been following me on TikTok, if you've been watching my shorts, you've been seeing a lot of Planet of the Apes content. I absolutely love the original Planet of the Apes movies, but I didn't really love Kingdom as much as I wish I did. So it's not going to be included in my top 5. If there are some other movies from 2024 that I don't talk about in this video, please feel free to leave a comment about it. I love talking about movies. I would love to talk to you more in detail about them. And my last little quick disclaimer is going to be talking about a movie that if you look on my list on Letterboxd, I have it at 3rd, but I'm not going to include it in this video, and it is the movie Society of the Snow. I'm not including it because A, you could technically consider it a 2023 movie, and B, the subject matter in it is just simply not something that I should possibly make light of by drawing them as a fun cartoon, because it does dive into very serious and traumatic things that happened in real life. It's a phenomenal film, don't get me wrong. It's an absolutely incredible film that I do highly recommend watching, but I'll not be including it in this video. But just know that if I'm including it for 2024, it's my 3rd favorite movie of the year. But when I look at a bunch of films and I look at it how I would like to rank them, I typically do it as a combination of what I think is the superior film and which one I just generally enjoyed more, which one I just had a better time watching. So that's going to be the overall consensus when it comes to these rankings. And now it is time to dive into the rankings. You can check out the full ranking of all movies I've seen in 2024 and 2023 as well if you check out my Letterboxd. Link is below in the description and in my bio. All right, now at number 5, the first movie that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. This movie is just a ton of fun. I guess I'm just a sucker for anything that is labeled as the MCU because I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now I am fully invested in the Monster Cinematic Universe. I have loved every single movie that has come out in this extended Monster Universe. I'm so excited for what the future of this franchise is going to be. It's one of my favorite film franchises right now. It's just so much fun. This movie is great, and one of the ways that it is so great is that the monster's storyline, the monster's own growth and its own storyline is the main story of the movie. Usually in these movies, it's very much driven from the human storyline. That's typically the A storyline in most of these movies, but in this one, the A storyline is undoubtedly Kong's journey for trying to find a family, trying to find companions. Godzilla's whole side quest to just get as juiced up as possible is all so much fun. And the movie is just overall a blast. So having this at my 5th spot is no surprise to me. And when it came to some drawings for this one, during the time that it was coming out, I did draw King Kong in 4 different cartoon styles. That was so much fun to do. If you look over here, the 4 styles that I did were of South Park, Bluey, Family Guy, and Teen Titans. This one was so much fun. South Park and Family Guy are so much fun to do. Bluey was certainly a challenge, but I think it still turned out pretty good. And obviously Teen Titans, it's basically if Beast Boy were to turn into King Kong. So these were a blast to make. Now on to the next one. Now at the 4th spot, I think a lot of you are probably going to think I'm crazy for this one. But at the 4th spot, I have Lisa Frankenstein. A little bit of a wild card. A movie that I didn't see in theaters. I watched once it came out in streaming. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's just such a fun, wacky rom-com almost. I just loved it. Catherine Newton's fantastic. Cole Sprouse was awesome. I just am a sucker for something different, something new. You know, it's just a crazy storyline with some truly hilarious and bizarre moments, and I just absolutely loved it. But with this drawing, this is going to be something that I'm making specifically for this video. It'll be the two main characters, Lisa, and Cole Sprout's character in the movie is just called The Creature. So it's going to be those two characters drawn in the Tim Burton style. This is a style I don't do a lot. I wouldn't necessarily say that I have it mastered like I do other ones like Family Guy, South Park, Powerpuff Girls, and Bluey, but it's still a very recognizable style. They have a very recognizable tone to them. They usually have very muted colors. They have very prominent features, usually like a pointed chin in some cases, very large eyes, very stringy hair, and very skinny and pointy bodies. So that's what you're going to see over here with the finished product. The two main characters from Lisa Frankenstein as Tim Burton characters. Moving right along, we are now at the number 3 spot, which was the new movie If. So this is another one that I don't think a lot of you are going to agree with me on, having it so high, but I just gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think it's just such a phenomenal example of just pure filmmaking and just such a lovely movie for people of all ages. And it is very rare when a movie does move me to tears, but this one certainly was one of them just because of how just genuine and pure and lovely this movie really was. It was such a great film experience. Out of the movies that has made me cry, it's a very short list, but it is growing because 3 of the 4 happened in the last like calendar year and change basically. I got Marley and Me, I got Guardians 3, The Iron Claw, and now I got If. So all phenomenal movies that all were able to move me to tears. Anyway, on to the drawing for If. With this drawing, obviously I wanted to draw the main If, played by Steve Carell, named Blue. If you're familiar with Imaginary Friends in any other form of pop culture, you may be familiar with the show Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, where the main character is also named Blue. So I'm going to be taking the character of Blue from If and turning him into a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends character. I did take a lot of inspiration from the character Eduardo, which is like another similar large, hairy imaginary friend. He's also purple, so that was another good jumping off point. In the finished product here, you'll notice that his whole body doesn't necessarily have an outline, but there are lines for detail within his whole character design. That's how most of the characters in Foster's Home look. So here's the finished product for Blue as a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends character. And at number 2, I have Monkey Man. I do want to say before I dive into the movie that it is absolutely criminal that this movie only made $34 million. I cannot believe it. Finding out that this only made $34 million was just truly ridiculous because this movie is phenomenal. It's got such a great story. Dev Patel starring and directing is absolutely insane. He knocks it out of the park in every way. Action is great. Again, great acting, great storyline. I had an absolute blast for this movie. So for this drawing, I'm going to go pretty basic with something that I know that I'm very good with, and that is going to be with South Park. I've stated before in other videos how the main thing that really sets South Park apart for me is their eyes, which are like they're oval shaped like this, and then they kind of lean up against each other. And then other than that, it's pretty much up for interpretation other than the fact that they're basically always going to be facing straight on at you or straight on left or right. And obviously I'm going to have him in his black iconic suit from the movie. And then here's the finished product of Dev Patel's character from Monkey Man in the South Park style. This should go as no surprise for most of you. It's saying that my number 1 pick for the top film of 2024 so far is Dune Part 2. This is my only 5-star movie of the year so far. This movie is truly, truly spectacular. It's up there as one of the most visually pleasing, best made movies I've ever seen. It's truly phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Get a Max subscription immediately, watch it, and then you can get rid of the Max subscription just so you can watch Dune. Seriously, it's that good. Just everything from top to bottom, the characters, the acting, the setting, the costumes, the action. Timothée Chalamet knocks it out of the park. Austin Butler knocks it out of the park. Zendaya, Javier Bardem, Florence Pugh. What more could you ask in a film, really? This one is definitely an example of where I did drawings beforehand. I did drawings during the time where Dune was really popping off on social media. And in this time, I drew 3 different characters in a series of different cartoon styles. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Feyd-Rautha, Austin Butler's iconic character. He absolutely stole the show for me, especially during like the black and white dark sun scene. That was seriously one of my favorite scenes probably in all of film. Like, it's so incredible. I just love that scene so much. So I took Austin Butler's character and I drew him in 4 different cartoon styles. And one fun thing I did do with it is that I did draw his characters in black and white to match the iconic scene that I just mentioned that I love so much. And the 4 styles that I picked were South Park, Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, and Handsome Squidward. The Handsome Squidward one truly is so much fun. The Rick and Morty one was also so much fun. Anytime I do a Rick and Morty character, it's always fun to make them yelling, because I do notice with their character design, their mouth sometimes extend past their face, and that's just a fun little detail with their character design that I love to draw. So that was Fade, Austin Butler's character, in 4 different cartoon styles. And then obviously you can't talk about Dune without talking about Paul Atreides, Timothée Chalamet's character, which was just a phenomenal performance. I wasn't so high on the first Dune movie. I had to watch it a few times to really understand how good it is and how good Timothée Chalamet is in his role. But seriously, he does a phenomenal job in this movie, so I had to draw him. I did him in 6 cartoon styles, and those 6 cartoon styles included Bluey, Family Guy, South Park, Handsome Squidward, Powerpuff Girls, and Loud House. And in each one you will notice he does have the blue eyes that are synonymous with the Fremen people. So that was just another fun touch to really make the character stand out. You're probably familiar with the meme of Javier Bardem's character Stilgar constantly claiming Paul Atreides to be the Lisan al-Gaib. It has certainly become its own trend in itself. So I thought it would be fun to capitalize on that and draw Stilgar in the same 6 cartoon styles that I drew Paul Atreides in, but have it be him looking at the drawing of Paul that I made in that cartoon style, like completely flabbergasted and like basically saying Lisan al-Gaib. This one was really fun. I had a ton of fun making this one. And if you look over here, you'll see the side-by-side of Stilgar as a Bluey character, Family Guy, South Park, and since Paul was Handsome Squidward, I had to just go basic SpongeBob for Stilgar, so I made him as a crab, like Mr. Krabs. I just thought that fit really good. And then Loud House and Powerpuff Girls. Here's all of the Dune Part 2 art that I did make. So much fun. Loved making these. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 movies of 2024 so far. Hopefully I'll make one updated video later on this year, because we're going to be getting a lot more fun movies coming out this summer, including Deadpool and Wolverine. It certainly has a chance to dethrone Dune Part 2 as the top movie this year for me. A bunch of other great movies are coming out this year, and there's also a bunch of great movies I haven't watched yet this year. So stay tuned. Let me know if you want to see more drawing and ranking videos. This would be so much fun to make more of and make it a whole series. Let me know what other things you might want to see me ranking. And please check out my letterbox. I have so much stuff on there. I love talking about movies. I love ranking movies. I'm always up for that. So again, link below, link in the description, link in my bio. Please check out my letterbox. I really appreciate it. Also check out my TikTok, Instagram, all of that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And also, always keep on drawing.